fucks left. No, no. I have no fucks, right? Oh, oh. I have no fucks left. No, no. So fuck off. I'm busy. Bye bye. Piss off. Not sorry. Don't cry. The fucking machine is out of order. So fuck yourself and save a quarter. I have no fucks left.
What do you get when you cross a snowman with a vampire? Frostbite. You're listening to an all-new No Fucks Left.
Don't cry. Don't cry. The fuck off.
I don't know why that joke tickles me so much, but it does. Salutations. Hello, everyone. Welcome to my podcast. Welcome to this delightful, lovely community that we are building here, a pod for all community. No Fucks Left with Landyn Shaw. That's me, is where you're at. And I'm so happy that you are. We got a great show for you today. We have another edition of T&A, where I spilled the tea and answer questions from all of our lovely listeners. That's all of you out there in the world. So you got that. Of course, you have AJ's Hot Takes. We can't do a show without that. And then we have this little delightful monologue where I'd like to first off start by wishing a very special happy birthday to my wife, my best friend, my soulmate, my rock. She's my everything, truly. I don't know that I could honestly function without her. So I just want to wish her a very, very special happy birthday. She deserves everything. And I hope that she has a lovely birthday and that she gets everything her little heart desires because she deserves it. So thank you for indulging me there. And if by all means you wish to join in wishing the professor a happy birthday, you can always visit us on Instagram as well as our website. Leave little messages there. Very, very soon, we're going to have a survey presented by SurveyMonkey that we're going to send out to everyone and encourage you all to fill out, answer. That's just going to kind of let us know how you feel about the show and what things are working now that we've kind of hit that. I guess we're very much still in the early stages of this wonderful podcast, but we have enough out there now, especially with the segments, that we would love some feedback so we know what maybe we should cut or focus on, etc. Because no use putting out a podcast that no one wants to listen to. Who would want to do that? I think there's actually a lot of people that are doing that, but I don't want to be one of those. We want this thing to be huge. So we're going to really enjoy that feedback, and we're going to thank you for that in advance. I also wanted to share with you a little bit on, this will kind of be a more medical monologue. Those of you that have seen our logo know that it is a bottle of pills, several bottle of pills, a couple of pills spilling out. And that's really because like part of this idea of like no fucks left and where I'm at in my life is that also medicine is very, very important to me now. Starting in around 2009, when I was first diagnosed with early onset Parkinson's, to now, prescriptions and medicine and dealing with pharmacies and doctors and all that good stuff has been pretty much a daily part of my life. I take many, many pills throughout the day. And at this point, they are what keeps me going. Truly, they make me able to manage the Parkinson's, especially in these colder times. My body really does not want to move when it's really cold. I also have what's called restful tremors. So my tremors predominantly come. Well, they're always there, especially now that I'm older and farther along in the disease, but they really start to show at night when I'm just kind of relaxing, chilling, binge watching with the professor. And that's kind of what actually started in the first place, which is what made me, pursue the diagnosis and the care, et cetera, et cetera. And then this month, my 1-year anniversary of being on HRT, hormone replacement therapy, aka gender affirming care, which is heavily in the news right now. As I'm recording this, the Supreme Court is currently listening to a case in Tennessee where they are banning the use of gender affirming care in minors. I will have not a whole episode, but certainly a segment dedicated to just that because there's a lot to unpack there. And I'm still kind of putting together a little bit more research and some data to kind of back it up. But I just want to tell you that, at least in my case, as an adult, and I think, even as a minor, first of all, as a minor, I would have loved to have had just answers. I would have loved to have known, like, what the fuck it is that I'm feeling and experiencing. And I felt that since age 4. At age 4, it was very, very clear to me as I was putting on my mom's nylons, biomom's nylons, and feeling, hey, this is what, people that think like me and are girls, quote unquote girls, that this is what they wear, this is what they do. And I was like, yeah, that's what I do, because that's what I am. And there was no getting around that. I mean, the number of times in my life that I got busted, with nylons or with makeup or something like that, because, it was very, very clear that I was in the wrong body. And luckily, eventually I found out from a medical standpoint, being intersex, that was probably a large part of my feelings and my gender dysphoria and not feeling like I fit in and not knowing who I am. And then, fortunately, in the last year, I've been able to take medical help and medical assistance to get to where I feel confident. And that's where I'm at right now. You're going to hear me answer a question in TNA about procedures that I've had done and what have you. And just yesterday, actually, I had what most likely will be my only real kind of procedures or intervention that has been necessary from a standpoint of feminizing me. And that is that I got, and I just want to give a shout out to my amazing nurse and technician, Claire. Oh my God, Claire, I love you and I adore you. And I hope you're listening to this, and I will forever be grateful. Claire was not only so kind and respectful and just such a sweetheart with me in terms of just needles, because when you're my age and you've had Parkinson's and you've been in the hospital and all this other shit, you're tired of needles. And she fully understood that. And also, because of my Parkinson's, my nerve endings are kind of always on the fritz, basically. And there's just a lot of stimulus and a lot of things that can really set me off and cause pain and discomfort. So she was so good with that. I got dermafiller and Dysport, which is also known as Botox, which Claire explained to me is like basically Coke and Pepsi. And I didn't have to get a lot, which is pretty incredible. And I can't really tell you what the results are yet because I'm still in the swelling phase, but instantly the amount of confidence that I got, and just the fact that I looked in the mirror and for the first time was like, yes, there it is. There it is. Just those little bits of treatment that I had done really helped in making me feel even more like, yes, there's a feminine face. There's a definite female looking back at me, and that, that's ideally, hopefully, what the world will see too. And so I just want to stress that, like, between gender affirming care and anything that you can do to make yourself more comfortable is only going to help that person out. Anyone that is trans or intersex or is, dealing with gender dysphoria, they want that to go away more than anything. Trust me. I wanted answers, and I wanted that dysphoria to go away, especially when I'm also dealing with Parkinson's and trying to be an actor and have a career that's very difficult already. I don't need this added stress of knowing who I am. So all we're after is answers, and we go to medical professionals and doctors to help us with that. And in my case, I also had to go to counselors and therapists. And all of this, by the way, most of it, a large part of it, is out of pocket, even though we have phenomenal health insurance, because a lot of this stuff is still in a very gray area when it comes to the treatment of everything. From a diagnosis standpoint, they give you a diagnosis that's in the, kind of mental health guidebook of acceptable diagnoses, and it's just literally gender dysphoria. That's what they call it. That allows you then to get treatment, that allows insurance companies to cover things, et cetera, et cetera. So right away, you are already hit with this idea that you have a mental health issue, which, you know, is probably part of it. Well, is definitely part of it. I mean, there's definitely a mental health component to it all. But again, in like my case, it's also that there was a definitive 100% medical explanation for this, and it comes down to chromosomes and DNA and all this other stuff that starts to get very convoluted. In short, what I think you really have to understand, and I guess what my point is today, is that the human body is pretty remarkable. And we're very remarkable species. Humans are complex and there's a lot to us. And there's still a lot that medicine and doctors and scientists don't know about us and don't know about our planet and obviously space and all that. Like, there's a lot unanswered. And so is it so far-fetched to believe that when the human body is being developed in utero, that a host of things can go wrong? Even the slightest little thing can go wrong. Like, we just had to have our furnace repaired, and it was literally just a circuit situation, but to the tune of almost $1,000 later to replace and fix that circuit thing. So why is it so easy to understand that when it comes to computers and technology and circuits and wiring and all these things that are connected, if even the slightest little thing goes wrong, it can just shut down everything? Why is it so hard to believe that in the development of a human being, where anything could go wrong, from either the mother's perspective, like her health and any health issues that maybe are known or unknown, to then the infant growing inside of her? I mean, that's pretty fucking amazing to think that a human being can grow all of this, that, we're equipped to do this. Yet anything can happen, and anything does happen. We know that there's birth defects. We know that there's anomalies all the time. And so why is it so hard to believe that during the process in the production and development of an infant, where, sex and gender are kind of more sex, because gender is kind of a construct, more sex is being defined, that something could intervene in that process to make it so that, if the baby's getting an X or a Y, or is becoming male or female, that something can happen there where, they can be both, or they can be more dominant in one sex than the other. Like twins, triplets, quadruplets, like those are all anomalies and all, amazing things that can happen in utero and in the development of a baby and an embryo. So again, why is it so hard to believe that that would be true also when it comes to sexual orientation, to gender, to, right-hander, left-hander, athletic, not athletic, introverted, extroverted? Like, all these things are kind of being imprinted during this period, and even if obviously a baby just born is not going to display gender dysphoria unless, again, it's medical and they're born with, being intersex or what have you. And there's obviously physical proof. No one's going to know until the baby starts to understand the world, much like I did, at age 3 and 4, and kind of, asking questions and observing and understanding gender norms. That's why I believe gender is a construct and all this stuff. Like, I arrive at the conclusion finally when I'm starting to be able to understand the world that I am a girl. Like, there is no question. I think like the girls that are in my life. I feel like the girls that are in my life. Like, that is a natural thing for me. That was not impressed upon me by anyone else in my world. I wasn't, I didn't go to drag queen story hour in kindergarten. Like, that just didn't happen ever. I wasn't indoctrinated by any of my teachers. That was something I arrived at on my own at age 4. I swear to everything that I possibly could that that is the truth. And so when a kid is questioning their gender, especially nowadays, is when they have more answers and when they have more of an understanding of what that fully means, we need to listen to them. And yes, maybe, and I'll be the first to admit, maybe the most immediate, response or answer or solution is not to put them on gender affirming care yet. Maybe have them go talk to a counselor, etc. Allow them to maybe socially transition at first in their house. Because I guarantee you, especially again with me, I didn't know that the answer was getting medicine. I just was like, oh, well, why can't I just be a girl tomorrow? Why do you keep referring to me as a boy? Why do you keep calling me that boy name? Why do you keep dressing me as a boy? I would have been, at least at that point, perfectly content with just being like, okay, Landyn's a female. The entire family, all of our friends, our circle, we all are in agreement. This is how we'll handle it. And I wouldn't have thought about medical intervention for probably some time, And again, I just want to also stress that in all of these cases, the parents are 100% involved. There is no doctor, at least no doctor that is worthwhile and has a honest to God, certificate of medicine. There's no doctor that is prescribing anything or doing anything unless the parents agree, period. And so if we're to understand that parents are the best advocates and best informed to make decisions for their kids to a certain age, and if the parents are saying that this is acceptable and this is okay and that they are good with this, then that's where it should lie. There are parents that allow their kids to drink and smoke underage. I don't approve of that. I don't think it's necessarily good. The data is there to, obviously go against that, but I'm not their parents. There's kids that get tattoos under the age of 18. There are kids that drive before the age of 16. We just have to allow parents to do what they believe is best for their kids. And in all cases, it's not maybe going to be. And that's life, man. My parents certainly didn't always do the right thing or the correct thing by us, but they did the best they fucking could, And I think in the end, they did a pretty good job. So I just wanted to kind of put that out there as these discussions are happening. And again, I'm always open to talk about, my process. I'm always open to talk about Parkinson's. I read about Parkinson's every single day as I don't want to have Parkinson's. I would love for us to have a cure, and I would love for no one to ever have to experience this, especially some of my idols like the great Michael J. Fox. So I'll continue to share this stuff with you. I just needed to definitely state that, especially as it was on my mind today. And without any further ado, let us get on to the word of the day. What's the word? The word of the day. What's the word? What will Landyn say? Landyn will say the word of the day is audition. Audition. Something that everyone in theater, at least from a performer actor standpoint, has done. Most likely the majority of them hates doing. They're not fun. Don't get me wrong, they can be very fun. And I've had some amazing auditions and I actually kind of love auditions, both as a casting director, and as an actor. But they're also very nerve-wracking and they come with a lot of ups and downs and all this other shit that kind of is tied into it. But the reason why it's the word of the day is we may or may not, hint, hint, wink, wink, talk about auditions and theater in AJ's Hot Takes and possibly even in TNA. I can't remember as we recorded that one about a week ago, but I'm pretty sure we talk about it there. But in either case, the word of the day is audition. And you know what to do. Yell, scream, dance, anything you want. Whenever you hear that magic word, our word of the day, be a part of this amazing Pod for All community and, live it up. Live it up. The word is audition.
This is another sad way of saying what you say. another sad way. Ooh la la, sing it again. This is another sad way.
Depending on my answers. All right, friends. The first time was so popular, we needed to bring it back again. After all your lovely questions, we're going to do another T and A.
That is not for AJ.
No, I'm sorry. It's not. It's for answers, chat and answers. I'm spilling the tea.
Okay, spill the tea.
Yeah.
All right, give me a number 1 through 18.
1 through 18. Let's say 14.
14.
Yeah.
What is your favorite musical that you have been in or worked on?
Oh.
So
Ooh.
directed,
Yeah.
starred in, featured in.
All right. I'm going to cheat a little bit.
Oh,
Okay.
fuck. All right.
Sorry. I'm going to tell you my favorite musical that I've been in and then my
Mhm.
favorite musical I've directed because that way I can get two in one kind of. So here's what I'm saying. So my favorite musical that I've directed has been, oh shit.
Yeah, I'm right here.
It's kind of the same one that I was in, but so I'll say Cabaret and Fiddler on the Roof are like right there. That summer, like both those shows just were so phenomenal. They really were. I mean, I'm quite proud of them. And I thought we did an amazing job. And I thought, what made that production, I think, Fiddler at least, work for me is that we did it on a very small fucking stage. Like,
yeah, that was
to this day,
really
it's still
small stage.
ridiculous that we did Fiddler on that stage.
Mhm.
And yet it still turned out so remarkably well that I was just like, oh fuck, like, yeah, we did this. And then Cabaret was pretty fucking special too. So that leads me into then the favorite show that I've been in was Cabaret, without a doubt.
Old chum.
Yeah. That, oh God, that was a good show.
That was a good show.
The professor was fucking fierce as Sally Bowles. And then
Sally Bowles!
Cody Hoyer as Cliff was outstanding. Our ensemble was outstanding. I mean, Betsy Bauer. Oh my God, Betsy Bauer was so good. And both actually, Fiddler and Cabaret. So yeah, I loved
she
it.
was
Frumacera. And Fraulein,
Yeah.
what's the Fraulein? Or oh God, what's her name?
Fuck if I know.
Oh God, the kind of, mature, very in your face kind of.
Mhm.
Remember that show? We were so nervous opening night. AJ wasn't in that show, but did you do sound or stage management? Or?
No, I was working the box office.
Oh,
and
that's
shit.
right. You were like
Yeah.
company manager for that first show.
Yeah, that's
That's it.
it.
Yeah. So it was our very first show, and we were performing in a very conservative it was very conservative.
Quite.
And we did the kind of very, true to form body version of Cabaret. And in the front row opening night was the sheriff of the county where the theater was, who also happened to, with his family, own the Dairy Queen.
Who provided us ice cream?
Provided
each
us
summer.
ice cream for the entire summer. Had a final cookout, kind of thing at the end of the summer at their beautiful house. I mean, they were fantastic. Their kids were involved. It was great. But there he is, front row, Sheriff Stolzer, I think. And Betsy immediately in the opening number goes right up to him, puts her leg up on the little railing, and kind of does a little bump and grind, gives him a little show right in front of his face. And I just remember looking at him and some of the others that we knew from the community that helped us, and I thought, oh, we're fucking dead. We're dead. Like this, we're not going to finish the show.
The police are going to show up any
For
minute
real.
now.
I really did. I've never been so nervous for a show in my entire life. Yeah.
That was a good run. Both of those shows. I remember we used MTI's Orc Extra for Fiddler. And all of a sudden one night we're all up there because you weren't in Fiddler.
No, I was
You were back
running
there
the tracks.
Yeah, you were operating Orc Extra.
Yeah.
And we're about to roll into Anatevka, and there's no music,
Nope.
no tracks.
And remember how the professor had to tell you guys, because we didn't really have headsets. We kind of had headsets, but there was no way to really reach anyone. And so the professor was like, oh God, I got to tell them, they may have to start a cappella. I think it was Sabbath prayer, maybe. And so she comes back to tell me what she had to do. She had to like crawl under the stage, go through a corridor, do something else. And then like, as she's like on her knees, kind of talking underneath the platform, she goes, guys, no tracks, start Sabbath prayer, whisper. And I think she said one of the cast members was like, what the whole time, just what and then all of a sudden it started, and I was like, well, they're either going to get it or they're not. Like,
yeah, I just remember looking around and saying that there was nothing. I was like, yeah, he's not calling the show, guys. Guess we're doing this still.
Yeah.
But out of all the numbers, that was the one for them to go out on.
Yes.
For
it was perfect.
Yeah.
It really was.
And they're like, oh, okay, this is a acapella number.
And what's good is, because it happened a couple of times, at least in the rehearsals, it always seemed to happen right before Sabbath prayer and then, or in between Sabbath prayer and L'Chaim. Like almost every single time. So we even had it down to a science that we knew how much time we had to reboot the entire fucking thing just to get it going.
Shit.
Oh God, I was so pissed. But that was a great show. So good question.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, give me a number none.
Let's do number
that's not 14. 4 to 14. Oh. What surgeries or procedures have you had so far?
Oh, wow. You know what's funny about this question? I think I may have said in an earlier episode, the one thing everyone wanted to see from me, like almost immediately, was a photo. You know, like I think we joked your mom was like really into that.
Can't wait to see you.
I know.
Can't wait to see you.
And you know, it's been hard because I've seen some friends even since then, and I saw a friend a couple of weeks ago, actually, who I haven't seen in forever. She was performing close by and wanted to do a photo after. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't do photos yet. And that's just because of my dysphoria. Like I'm still not overly confident. And so the photo thing really threw me. And then people started asking what procedures have you had done? Are you having surgeries? What do you got going? And it's interesting because and I should have kind of expected it because I saw that was kind of what the response was to others, you know, that came out that I would witness and stuff, was people wanted to see the photos. People wanted to know what they were having done. I'm here to tell you, I understand the questions, but it's actually very rude. It's very invasive. And so I will answer it only because I feel like I need to, and I have this podcast and this platform, so I'll answer it. For me, I haven't had any, luckily. I'm about to very shortly actually get some like fillers and some things to kind of help give my face a more feminine appearance, because that's actually my biggest hang up for me personally is that. But outside of the HRT and gender affirming care, no procedures. And even when I went to go get my initial medical screening and talk and all that, which is very extensive, they don't just, you know, contrary to what people believe, they don't just hand out hormones to everyone. You know, it's very extensive, very extensive. And some people even leave those appointments without having a prescription. So it's not like people are just, you know, giving them out. But we went through in that discussion, and she's like, okay, so what things do you think you would want to, you know, have altered, or what surgeries, procedures, etc. And I was like, well, I mean, you tell me, am I what we call passable? Like, what would I have to get done? And she's like, honestly, not much. I mean, I really wouldn't. And she's like, you could get what they call facial feminization surgery, which is FFS. It's very extensive. The recovery time can be brutal. And for someone, you know, that was of my age, that has Parkinson's and all these other complicating factors, we kind of just decided that wasn't the way to go. And I could use it, I'm sure, but I just didn't feel the need for it, you know. We talked about possibly in the future breast augmentation, although I'm just out of curiosity, I'll be very honest here, I'm getting a lot of great growth just from the HRT, so I don't even know if that's something I need to necessarily do. So outside of the fillers and then just diet and exercise and stretching and what have you, nothing, you know, and I'm very fortunate in that regard. I know that, believe me. And that's one of the main reasons, you know, I definitely went forward with this, because for everyone in the trans and intersex community, if you are doing a transition, what most people don't realize is we pay for everything almost out of pocket. Health insurance has come a long way and they've covered more things. But like when I first tried my transition back in, I think it was like 2000, 2001, whatever, I had to pay everything out of pocket. And that's actually what made me stop taking my meds and stuff, because it was very expensive. It was like $400 or $500 a month. And I was like, I'm a fucking poor actor. Like, I can't afford this.
Those are $2,000.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of costs and there's a lot of issues, and there's a lot of things that every person who's going through this has to kind of answer and figure out for themselves, because it's not cheap. It can be very lonely. And you don't see results immediately either. Like it's a work in progress. I'm coming up on 1 year. And I'm just now starting to feel like, oh, okay, I can see her. Like, yeah, that's there. So good question.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, to those of you in the future, if you have anyone in your family or friend circle, like come out to you as trans and they're starting their transition, don't ask them for photos or what procedures they've had done. That's just not for general consumption.
Yeah. No, that was apparent to me, but apparently is not apparent to everyone.
Yeah. So I'll answer it, and then I'll kind of, give everyone the kind of the lowdown and what's cool.
All right. So we are in a death penalty state.
Yes, we are.
You're on death row.
Okay.
And you're about to be executed.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Where is this? I'm about to be executed for being trans or
probably
intersex, or...
this new admin.
All right.
So what's your final meal? Not sure they even still do this.
Oh,
especially in these kinds of states.
That's a good question. Oh, and I can answer it easily. It would be Portillo's.
Okay.
It's a very classic restaurant in Chicago. And since it's my final meal and I don't have to worry about like calories and fat and all that, I would get a Italian beef and cheese with sweet peppers, fries for sure. And I would get one of their cheeseburgers. Their cheeseburgers are truly one of the best cheeseburgers I've ever had. Okay. And I didn't discover it till much later in my indulgence of Portillo's, because I would always get the beef and cheese because, when in Rome. Yeah, and then suddenly someone said like, oh, have you ever had one of their cheeseburgers? I'm like, no, why would I? And they were like, oh, you must get it. Sure enough. Fucking good. Amazing.
Yeah, we got a place, what is it, in St. Louis called Steve's Hot Dogs. And Steve Ewing, he was in The Urge, maybe?
Okay.
I don't know, some punk band. Anyway, I had a burger there, and the burger just tasted like a hot dog. Ugh. So is that the same with Portillo's?
No.
Same kind of like, okay, they just crumbled this up into a burger instead?
No.
Okay.
These burgers are amazing. Truly, to the point that if you knew me, I love the Italian beef and cheese. I would actually literally have to decide like, ooh, what am I getting today? Because like they're both so good. And whenever I go back, to visit or wherever, and I get Portillo's, I still have to hem and haw. I have to go, oh, okay, well, I'm actually in Chicago for a week, so I'd be able to go like 2 or 3 times. So I'll do the beef and cheese today. And then in a couple of days, I'll get the burger, and then I'll get the chopped salad.
Well played.
Yeah.
Well played.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I don't mess around with my food.
Yeah, no, I got a little bit of a gut right now. I've been putting too many back these last month or so.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. We got one more time for at least one more here.
Let's do one more.
And I'm seeing my name show up here. I did not write these questions, people.
No, they're submitted by our listeners.
So
Instagram, we get some from Reddit, and we got some from one other source.
Okay.
Yeah.
USPS, perhaps. What is it that makes you and AJ so close and have such great chemistry?
Oh, well, you answer this one first. Why do you think? Because I think we've actually kind of talked about this, not on air, but
we.
And I think we both arrived at the same conclusion that on paper we shouldn't be a match necessarily.
Yeah, very different, and not talking physically or whatever,
Right.
but ways of presenting
Yeah. Oh,
whatnot.
yeah.
And so I am generally very melt into the wall type, whereas you can command a room.
Yes, I can.
But I am happy to, yes, like I said, just
But
blend in.
I think even beyond that, like just for example, your video game preferences. You like the shooter games and stuff like that, right?
Mhm.
I do not. I'm more milquetoast in terms of like Mario and MLB The Show and stuff like that. You read a
Mhm.
lot, and then even in your reading preferences, not always would it be a story I would necessarily read. And then even your movies and stuff like that. But see, I also think like that's okay. I think some of my best friendships and relationships have been with people that are totally different than me. I
Mhm.
mean, even the professor is honestly very different from me.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And I've seemed to be one of those people that like the more opposite you are of me, the actual better we'll probably get along, because
Mhm.
I would drive me crazy. Like,
Yeah.
I could
Yeah,
never be
I'm
friends.
Yeah, I'm fine with myself and my own company,
Right.
but put another me next to me, I don't know how. I don't know. We might be best friends, but yeah, I don't know.
No, I can guarantee you right now that if someone exactly like me or even close to me sat right here, I'd be like, oh, get the fuck away. Like, this is too much.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'd probably be like, "Yeah, you're a cool dude. Yeah, let's hang out. You want to watch Bad Boys 2? Yeah, let's watch it."
And then you guys won't say a word to each other for hours.
And then we will have had the best time.
See, that's so funny. Right before we started this, this amazing couple that the professor and I both like kind of follow on Instagram, and we love kind of not interacting with them because we never met them or anything, but we watch their reels and shit. And this is an interesting couple. They both are Mormon, and they were both very heavily in the Mormon church, and then they got married, obviously have had kids, and one of the spouses was like, you know what, I'm trans and I'm going to go through my transition and everything. And the other spouse, who's a cisgendered female, is very supportive and into this, and they're just a great couple together. And long story short, the woman who's going through a transition is getting vocal surgery, actually, because she has a very kind of low voice already. And so there's a surgical procedure that actually can help that. She can't talk for 2 weeks.
Oh.
And the professor and I were literally talking about like, oh God, what would that be like? And I said, oh, I would die. I would literally, I couldn't make it. There's no way. I mean, I can't make it 2 minutes without
Yeah.
really talking.
Yeah, Trisha was on me today. She's like, we're making sure we were out shopping, whatnot. She brought my meds with me because I guess when I don't take them, I get more heightened easily and whatnot. And so before I guess I regress, whatever, I go up. And so she can tell when I haven't taken my meds. She's like, you have a lot of energy today. And so yeah, this week has been very off or whatever, just in terms of me. There was probably a couple days where I missed whatnot, but
do you miss because you forget, or do you miss because like you just are like,
yeah, I just forget. There was a time when my brain would actively be like, let's not take them. Like,
wow,
let's not do this. Whatever. Let's see what happens. And I would just let that part win happily. But now within the last like 6 months or so that I finally got, I don't know, that I just feel so much better when I am consistently on them.
Right.
So,
well, that's kind of the point of medication.
Exactly. Yeah. So,
and it's so funny because like I would hear people forget their medication, and I'm sitting there as someone who has to take like 14 fucking pills, a day.
Got
and
a
everything else.
maraca.
Like I sit there and I go, well, if I didn't take my pills, I wouldn't be able to move. Like, so I can't forget. So I think it's interesting if you have kind of what they call maybe a silent disease or a silent illness where it doesn't necessarily impact you per se physically or inhibit you to be able to move or whatever. It's just one of those things that it's like, oh, you would probably be in a better place emotionally and mentally right now if you had your pills. And that's funny too, that you said, if you get heightened, like I probably, tying into what we were talking about with each other, AJ is very, very like just grounded, very laid back. Like I think the most I've ever seen you energy wise was Lumiere.
Probably.
And that was because he was obviously acting. But outside of acting or performing, the dude is so chill, so even keeled. It's one of the things I actually admire about him. And so if I saw you heightened, I would actually think you were on something. Like I would think you took something.
Yeah, took an upper or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, it's
so that's kind of funny.
It's an interesting
dynamic
reaction that's occurring in my brain.
Yeah. So. And that's the beauty of marriage, is that your spouse can be like, nope, something's off before you maybe even realize it.
Yeah. And so today we were on our way to between stores, and she said, if you see a gas station, stop one. I need to get a water bottle. I didn't think anything of it. Okay, she needs water.
Right.
Anyway, we didn't see a gas station. We didn't stop. On the way, and so we left that place and we're going home. She said, okay, are you going to be fine taking your meds when you get home, or do we need to stop at a gas station and get you some water? It's like, oh, the water is for me? Like, I didn't. Yeah, an hour is not going to make a difference. Like, this is like something that later in the day, tomorrow, we're gonna be experiencing.
And you're probably like, shit, I may not even take it when I get home. Like,
yeah, and then she stood there and waited for me and watched me take them.
Oh, yeah. You and the professor are very similar in that regard. Like, I start off every single morning with the professor. Good morning, gorgeous. How did you sleep? Did you take your meds? And I will maybe get a text back. 9 times out of 10, that text will say, not yet, I'll take them later. And there's no follow-up.
We both have alarms on our phones that go off at noon every day.
Oh, wow.
And then 6 out of 7 days a week, one of us will have texted the other one within a couple minutes. Did you take your meds? So we try to stay on each other.
The married couple that takes their pills together stays together.
Yep, exactly.
And let's wrap up another excellent installment of T and A.
J.
Tay.
This is another segue. A segue, what you say? Another segue. Ooh la la la. Sing it again. This is another segue. A segue, what you say? Another segue. Ooh la la la. La dee da. Is another segue. A segue, what you say?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. And we're here with everyone's favorite segment, yours and mine, AJ's Hot Takes.
Hot takes! Hot takes! There you go.
There it is. Thank you. The crowd goes wild. They love it. And just so you guys obviously can't see this, we'll take a screenshot, but AJ is sitting behind a wicked backdrop. I'm thinking he's in Oz, basically. Yes, he's at the Emerald City. But I will say it's a fucking amazing picture of the Wicked set. And it looks great. And AJ looks like he is currently the Wizard of Oz. So I'll call you the Wizard when I'm with the Wizard. All right.
Yeah.
What you got?
I chose this background for a reason, because my hot take is Wicked adjacent.
Okay.
All right.
Wicked adjacent.
It has come to my attention that. So, all right. I'll preface this by saying I didn't think that I liked Cynthia Erivo anyway, and I can point to exactly what it was that gave me a vibe about her. There's a video from the workshop.
Are we going to get hate mail?
We're
going to get a hate mail. are you going to insult Cynthia Erivo? Are
I'm
we
not
going to
going
get
to
a hate mail
insult
here?
her, but I'm not
Okay,
going to
all right.
insult her, but I am going to give my opinion on shit she said. So,
All right.
but so, I guess I see why you asked that because of how I was prefacing this. Well, so there's a video from The Greatest Showman that you can see on YouTube. It's the workshop. It's Hugh Jackman singing "From Now On," just in a fucking room in New York with the cast and some crew or whatnot, and it's great video. Hugh Jack, they open it up prefacing it by saying that it just had a skin cancer removed, and
Oh wow.
and so he hadn't been singing at all that day. They were running through the show, what have you. He hadn't sang at all that day, and then From Now On comes up. Jeremy Jordan was there, doing Hugh's parts for him. Hugh, like I fucking know him, but Jeremy Jordan was there doing it for him, and then Hugh steps in and is like, "Nah, I got this one," and kills it. So I mean, just brings down the house. I mean, everybody there is having a good time.
Yeah,
I get it. But then he got Cynthia Erivo dancing on a table, going, ah! Like, just to me, that just, I don't know, just seeking attention or whatnot, seeking the camera, just overdoing it. Anyway, from that moment, I was like, you seem like you like the spotlight.
Right.
The song isn't about you. But anyway.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense. No, I could see, knowing you too, I could see why you would think that. Totally. Because you are not someone who is into the showmanship per se of someone's personality. Because you're low key, you kind of to keep it low key, right?
Yeah. I'm all, it's dance softly and carry a big stick.
Got it. Yeah.
So,
and I could see that in you. I totally can see that. And then again, that's one of the things I love about you.
Well,
it's a balance.
You.
Yeah.
Well, so that brings me to a tweet that she had a couple weeks ago about the people that she was auditioning with. I don't know if have you seen this?
Oh no, I'm not on X, but oh my God,
she said the thing was Cynthia Erivo when she learned that Ariana Grande was cast as Glinda in Wicked. She said, quote, "Absolutely no surprise whatsoever. Thank goodness, because it was not the two ladies that I was auditioning with."
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so I'm not going to claim to know her. She has always been sweet to me. One of your former students auditioned for this role, Taylor Louderman.
Oh wow. I didn't even know that.
Yeah. And so when Taylor has a post on Instagram. So, everything, what you say does not exist in a vacuum, people.
Right.
Just fucking be nice. It's not hard.
Are you saying that Taylor was one of the ones that was in the room with her? Or do we not know who it was?
Well, I mean, she said, so I don't know. But Taylor has said she posted on Instagram or something the day that the casting was announced. "Why did I even audition or think I had a chance? This business, you can't care too much about any role you're auditioning for. You could get hurt and won't come back, but you have to care enough to give it your all. I cared too much this time. I hope it's okay that I'm sharing this." And she looks very sad in the photo. Oh. And who can fucking blame her? I mean, that's a role of a lifetime, whatever, that, you didn't get and what have you. But
I mean,
not that
for anyone, this would have changed their life.
Yeah, and so not something that I feel like she was unqualified for. I feel like she probably would have killed it just fine.
Oh yeah.
And so
Honestly, actually, I mean, personally, I could see Taylor playing Glinda quite well too. I think she would have been.
well, that's who she was auditioning for, was Glinda.
Oh, nice. Oh, okay, I thought it was Alphaba for some reason. I was like, oh no, I could totally see that. Oh shit! Wow. Oh.
Yeah, so she was audition. So Cynthia Erivo's audition partners, I guess. Taylor was in the running, Amanda Seyfried, and a couple other people. Yeah, you know,
And,
I'm not going to go to bat for Amanda Seyfried. She did fine in Les Mis, but I'm not going to claim that. But Taylor, I feel like would have killed the role.
Yeah,
and absolutely does not
deserve a comment like that. And let us preface, if she is talking about perhaps Taylor being in the room at that point, which Taylor is really, really good, y'all. She's been Tony nominated, been in everything. Mm-hmm. And I'm not just saying this because I got to work with her. She's outstanding. I would not find it far-fetched to believe that she made it to the finals, or at least down to a random few, because I bet she could fucking sing the hell out of it and would be outstanding acting-wise too. So we're not saying that Taylor was in the room with Cynthia, because obviously we don't know. But what I'll say as an actor and a director, that's really fucking shitty to post. I would never talk smack about someone that was at an audition with me, ever.
Yeah, no, that it is not cool, at all. And so, that was really what cemented it for me. That got me heated when I read that, and so because
I didn't even know about the Taylor part either. So like, that's crazy that you on your end put kind of maybe those 2 and 2 together, and we're like, that's 2 and 2 together equals piss.
Yeah,
more than I would be.
And so that's exactly. I was like, who auditioned for this? And I felt like I had remember reading Taylor's name in the mix, long ass time ago when this was happening or whatnot. But I couldn't be sure, and then I went and dug into it a smidge, and So anyway. Not pleased. This could easily, you could easily be on my shit list right now, Cynthia.
I mean, why didn't she just cut it off with, "Oh, I'm so happy," like I was hoping she would get it or something like that, and be done. Like, yay, we get to do the movie now. Like, period. End of sentence. Yep. You're not throwing anyone else under the bus. You're not insulting anyone. Like,
Yeah,
that really
because it sure wasn't. It wasn't. Yeah. Fuck you. Yeah, I do not.
I have so much to say right now, but I'm waiting because just so you all know, speaking of Wicked, we'll give you a little Wicked nuggets leading up. We're planning right now a kind of Wicked themed episode where AJ and I will share our thoughts about the movie, because I've seen it. He's about to see it. We may have a special guest on that episode. So we're kind of, I know. So we're going to kind of break it down a bit there in the future. And I will save some of my comments that I want to say so badly right now for that. What I will say is it's wild that you pulled this one out, because just today I was reading an article about the auditions, and I did not know that Ariana actually auditioned for both roles and was actually initially hoping she would get Alphaba. Like, apparently she went on the record as saying Alphaba was like her dream role, along with Penny Pingleton, or is that name Penny in Hairspray, which she did do the Hairspray live. So she got to check that one off. And then she wants to play Audrey, is what this article said. So it literally went on to say that she auditioned for both roles, made it down to kind of the finals for both roles. And that actually when she was called, which if you look on social media, I think they have the video of John Chu literally saying, like, "I want you to be my Glinda." Oh, I know. I saw it because it was in an NBC special. So yeah, they have that video. And she said that in that moment, she was wondering what role she might be still at that point, because it wasn't really decisive, even going into that call, which one she possibly would be, if any. she made it quite far for both. And I found that to be interesting because after seeing the movie, I couldn't see her in any other role. Obviously,
I'm not familiar with her music and whatnot. I mean, I know of her. I've seen her in things. Yeah, the Hairspray and whatnot. I don't know what her range is, but it definitely
Did you know
seems.
she was? Did you know
She
she's on
seems
the
more
13?
Glinda to me. Did I know she's what?
She's on 13, the original cast recording.
I didn't.
She's in that original cast, and for the longest time was going to be, you know how Jason wanted to do a movie version of that like many moons ago.
I think it's still in like it's if you go on Playbill's page of movies in development, I think it's still on there.
Didn't it come out?
No, they did make a movie. They did make a movie.
They came out.
Yeah, okay, yeah, never mind.
Yeah. But he wanted to do it like right after they did the off Broadway or something. And like Ariana was lined up to be in that, and then actually I think I read at one point Jason was kind of like, well, and then she got a little show on Nickelodeon or whatever, and didn't need me anymore. But she's on that cast recording. It's kind of wild.
About. Yeah, I don't remember. I don't know. I didn't know that. What I love. There's one song from that show. What it means to be a friend. Oh. And that is so good. Whoever sang that on that recording, I can't remember who it was, but she kills it.
Yeah, that show is great. I love that show. So, I mean, yeah, Ariana has the musical theater, background and chops, and obviously Cynthia does too. I will say, in my humblest opinion, no one sings I'm Here from Color Purple better than Cynthia Erivo. It's followed very closely by Mariah Little, who played my Celie in Color Purple, the tour that I was on. Mariah fucking is fierce on it. But Cynthia, I mean, and that honestly was like, I think seeing that video was one of the first times I really became familiar with her, just who she was, period. And that video alone was like, oh, this girl is fierce. Like, she's got some talent.
Yeah, I will not argue with that at all. She was actually in my top 5, Spotify a couple of years ago at my end of year. Wow. I haven't seen that movie Harriet. I doubt I don't need to see it.
I haven't either.
But she did a song for the end of it called I'm gonna stand up, take my people with.
I think I've heard. Yes, yeah.
I'm blanking on the name of the song, but anyway, song's a banger, and so that came across my, Discover Weekly at some point, and I mean, yeah, she is very talented.
Yeah.
Very not nice, says things very not nice as well. And I guess just one other thought is it's not surprising to me at all that they went with Ariana Grande. She's got a massive brand and fan base and whatnot that's going to bring people to the show. So I hope, Taylor, if you ever hear this, don't beat yourself up over not getting the role. I mean, she had a huge fucking leg up or just with, the people she's going to bring into the show and whatnot, which is not, just because they don't necessarily cast on talent or whatnot. There's a lot of
there's a lot more than no, you're absolutely right. I tell my students this all the time. I go, you can never go into an audition feeling like, oh my God, I nailed it, I have this, there's no way. Because even if you gave the best fucking audition ever, which let's face it, most of the time we think we did, like, that's what we're after. You want that confidence. They literally could not cast you because they don't like your name. They were wanting someone that was literally an inch taller or shorter. And believe me, friends, more so in movies, not necessarily in theater, but that happens. Real quick, I'll tell you a quick anecdote. One of the first stories that I ever heard about, like, the ruthlessness of casting was a teacher that I really loved and respected, Blair Bybee. I was at Columbia College. I was doing some workshops and things, and Blair's there, and he's talking about auditioning. And he talks about how he's auditioning for Cats on Broadway. And it's down to him and one other person. And I don't know if this is like for the original company or replacements. But Blair literally said, like, he danced his fucking ass off. He was dancing for the casting directors, the producers, you name it. Like, they were in love with him, right? And then they're hemming and hawing, and they're doing that whole, I don't know, looking at headshots, guys, go take a break, and, then come back in. And so finally, he said they literally just held up the costume, and they were like, okay, who fits the costume better? And that's what it came down to. And he's like, and I wish I was fucking kidding. I'm not. That's literally what it came down to. And he's like, he was so young. He was so disheartened by that he was like, I don't know if I can do this. If that's literally what this is about, if it comes down to a fucking Broadway show with millions of dollars at that time, especially, not obviously nearly as much as they do now, but back then, money, Andrew Lloyd Webber, Cats, you can't make another fucking costume.
Yeah, like, you can't tailor this fucking thing.
Are you kidding me? Yeah. And so, like, he was not exaggerating. I know him very well. He was not exaggerating. This was not hyperbolic. He and I've been around obviously long enough to know that this shit happens.
Oh,
and I'm also telling you as a casting director, I'm not proud of this, but I purposely have avoided casting people because I found out something about them that maybe wouldn't have, I don't know, worked well for me, like my personality or my style or something. And no matter how good they were, it was done. Like, you were not going to get it purely because I got to love you to work with you. Like, to a certain point, like, we have to have trust, and people don't understand like what goes into producing art. It's very edgy. There's a lot of emotion caught up in there, and there's a lot of feelings. And as a director, you're playing psychologist. And so I say all of this to say, like, those of you that are listening, which I think is probably a lot of theater people, and I'm so excited by that, you will never perfect auditions, never. And that's okay. That's your job. You are a professional auditioner, and you will go in and you will do the best you can, and you will network, and you will do all that shit. But just know that if you don't get something you really, really wanted, sometimes it can literally come down to you not fitting the costume.
Yeah, that's insane. Yeah,
isn't it? Yeah.
And I don't, unfortunately, just with that specific anecdote, based on what both Chad and
John.
Beowulf, I was going to say Boris. I was like, his name is not Boris. Beowulf, Boris. What Beowulf was saying in his interview, just about costs, about getting, having twice the budget and getting half the scenery.
Yeah.
Their costs are being redirected elsewhere. And I doubt costumes are top of that priority for most shows.
Probably not. And I mean, it's insanity. And like I said, it's one of the things I think we all secretly know. Like, as an actor, I kind of knew that it wasn't just going to be the talent. And obviously, I mean, I can break this down, and I break it down. If you guys are interested in like acting advice and things like that, hit me up, and I will fucking give you anything you want, because I love talking about this business. I love teaching. I like to think I'm pretty good at it. And so, yeah, by all means, if you ever want more insights about auditioning, I'd be happy. I mean, I can tell you, and again, I'm not very proud of this, but AJ knows full on, because he would go with me. We go to Midwest Theater auditions or SETCs, and I would have a running list of the most bizarre fucking shit. Like,
people who wore dance shoes to their singing auditions.
And we would share the list with select few. I would keep track of how many times I heard Vanilla Ice Cream from She Loves Me. Because, I mean, we're seeing like fucking 150 people in, a 4 or 5 hour span, like nonstop, back to back. And, when you go to one of these combined auditions, you really see the whole spectrum of talent. You see, like, oh, bless their little hearts, they're trying. And then you see, oh, fuck, they're fierce. Like, good for them. Like, this, yep, they should be doing this. Like, go for it. And so, yeah, and you go to an audition where you're trying to cast a professional company, where you're charging a lot of money for people to come to a summer stock environment. You're looking for the best of the best. And so, yeah, there were certain people that it was just like, oh God, oh, honey, no.
Yeah. Yeah, somebody needs to sit you down.
You
before
sat
you're- before you
through
have-
those with us, right?
What's that? Yeah,
Didn't you
yeah,
go
I
to
went
like an
to I went to
update or
Midwest
Midwest
once
me?
with you.
Yeah. And you saw it. You saw it firsthand. It was like, yeah.
Oh
You
yeah,
see-
there's a spectrum.
There is a
Yeah, there's and which I don't know, we're really veering off now, but doesn't it cost? Don't you have to register? Like, didn't you have to?
Yeah,
pay?
it's minimal. It's like $35-$40. Like,
Oh,
you
okay.
know,
All right, well,
yeah. So they're
But-
doing it. I mean, God bless them. And like I said, most of them will get work because there's so many companies and so many jobs out there that just because you're not right for, you know, a book musical on stage doesn't mean you're not right to do children's theater. Doesn't mean you're not right to do historic tours in Alaska or what have you. So there's jobs out there, my friends. You just need to be open to it. But we're not veering off too much because again, I think it's become perfectly clear that most of our audiences are theater people, most of our listeners so far. And I love that. Like I was hoping that would happen magically, but I wasn't sure. And based upon the comments and the feedback and just people that are getting back to me, it's a lot of theater peeps, which is good.
there's
We found
dozens
our-
of us.
We found our community. Yes.
Yeah.
So with that, let's wrap up this segment and this episode of Hot Takes. Thank you so much, AJ, for that. And again, I'll look forward to more Wicked talk in our Wicked episode.
Yeah, I'm seeing it tomorrow with my mom. So we
Nice.
yeah, we're going first thing. So I'll
Nice.
I'll have some takes. So,
All right. Well,
but-
have a good night. Love you.
well, yeah. Good night. I will talk to you soon.
I have no fucks left. No, no. I have no fucks, right? Oh, oh. I have no fucks left. No, no. So
That's all, folks. I don't know why I just felt like doing that, but that's a wrap. That's a wrap on episode number 6. Thank you all for coming by. Hope you had a great time. It was a fun show. If you are liking the show, and I hope that you are, please be sure to tell a million of your friends about us. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow, interact with us, do all that great stuff. And I was not kidding. By all means, tell a million of your friends for us. We're definitely trying to reach as many people as we can, but can always use some help, and we love that from all of you. Speaking of friends, I just want to give a little special shout out to a friend of mine who texted me as I was recording this, Betsy. Thank you for writing to me and telling me that you just enjoyed episode number 3. It means the world to me. And to all of you that have reached out to me to let me know about the show or that you're listening, it's huge. It literally makes my day, and it makes all of this so worthwhile. So thank you for that. Keep doing it and keep telling everyone else about us. Until next week, thank you so much. Take care of each other, and remember to always, yes, always, lead with love. Bye-bye.
no, no. So fuck off. I'm busy. Bye, bye.
No Fucks Left has been a presentation of Transplendent Media. The host and creator of No Fucks Left is Landyn Shaw. The producer is AJ Luebbert. Our logo and graphic design has been done by Wally Spence. If you'd like to be a part of No Fucks Left in the future, please visit our website at nofucksleftpod.com. nofucksleftpod.com. Thank you so much.